Hello and welcome to Seismic Cinema. So put your feet up and watch as the two people you've ever loved die. Grab your umbrella and prepare to never make a profit with your law firm because you're forever doing pro bonos and it's not going to be a successful venture.
That law firm kind of sounds like our podcast.
It does. Did you like my dark intro?
Yeah. It makes this movie sound way better than it is.
Aye.
Oh, is that me giving my feelings straight off the bat? Oh, sorry.
Nice spoilers. And then before Paul can butcher the intro, we are Seismic Cinema, and usually I've not seen it, and Paul's watched it in the wrong order. On this occasion, I don't think either of us seen it, unless you'd seen it years ago.
I seen it when it first came out, yeah, years and years ago, 2003.
I owned it on DVD. It was like, do you know how you used to get those random like superhero mixed box sets back in the day? Had like 3 or 4 like random superhero movies. It was like X-Men and Fantastic Four, and then like this.
You know, I think I remember you having that actually. Yeah, that does actually.
I don't think it's Daredevil I've got. I think it's Elektra I've got.
Oh, that's even worse.
I'm gonna watch that next. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. So yeah, we're Seismic Cinema, and we are a movie and TV podcast, and we like to rank things sometimes, and sometimes have special guests on. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as Seismic Cinema. So give us a follow, share, like, retweet, all those technological words. And you can also find us or watch us on YouTube and Spotify. And you can listen to us on other platforms like Audible, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and all the other ones. So, yeah, that's us.
Yeah, that's definitely your job going forward. I'm glad I edited out my attempt at it last week because it was so bad.
And I forgot to say, I reckon there's a lot of people who watch us or listen to us, hopefully, that don't subscribe, follow, or any of those other things. So if you could subscribe or follow or share, retweet, like our page, it'd be much appreciated and help us grow our number of subscribers and get me that equipment that I badly want.
I know, and if you want to try and fund his attempt at getting good equipment, we've got a Buy Me a Coffee page. So if you want to visit that, Buy Me a Coffee /Seismic Cinema, you know. Every penny counts towards making Colin sound a bit better. Unfortunately, can't make him look a bit better, but we can make him sound a bit better.
So, yeah, we probably should have mentioned what we're doing in this episode. We've decided to do a bit of a superhero month for May because there's lots of superhero things coming out, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I'm going to go see on Monday night, and Across the Spider-Verse. However, we don't like to review things that are currently out because everybody and their dog will be doing them. So we decided to review 2003's Daredevil.
Yes, I was going to say at the request of Craig from What's the Script. So it's his fault that I had to spend an hour and a half watching this again, and however long this podcast takes, he's just wasted all these precious minutes of my life. Thank you, Craig.
Thanks for that, Paul. So we actually decided to get and decide what we're doing for the rest of the month. So next we'll review the DC film Man of Steel. That, and then the following week we're going back to Marvel and we're going to review Into the Spider-Verse, and the sequel coming out, and then we're going to finish off our month by reviewing Batman 89, which I've never seen, and then we're going to take a wee week's holiday for my birthday and my MOT and various other things.
Yes, life gets in the way, so.
But I was looking at that week, I was like, yeah, I could do with just one less thing that week with all the stuff that I've got going on. And
so it's okay, I'll do a solo carry, it's fine.
You don't even know how to work StreamYard, so.
You're right, that's a terrible idea. I mean,
anytime I've offered you the login details, you've just went, nah.
Hey, I'll do it.
You can if you want.
That can be a birthday present. I'll do a solo podcast that you can just laugh at it.
And I get to choose the theme.
The movie.
You have to do Daredevil again.
Nah, it's all right. I mean, I'll take the holiday.
Anyway, before we get into the review itself, I've decided to rebrand a lot of our different segments to make them via alliteration. So this is now what used to be What We're Watching. It's now called Seismic Suggestions, where we suggest films and TV shows we've watched recently that we think you should also check out.
Yes. Who's want to go first? Do you want to go first? Me? You?
You usually go first, so I'll maybe take a wee turn this time.
On you go, son.
So I'm not going to do this in any particular order. I watched the first episode of Volume 2 of Visions this morning.
Oh, I forgot that was out. Yes.
Yeah, that's out today. So I watched the first one this morning. I won't say anything about it. But however, if you're listening to this, you should check out our review of Volume 1, which just dropped last week.
It just dropped yesterday, did it not? Oh no, I mean I'm forgetting this doesn't drop till the week after.
To break the fourth wall. So I watched that. Yeah. Me and Alien finished Blue Light, so on iPlayer, which is a 6-parter, which is really good, really enjoyable. We've started watching Luther.
From season 1.
We're going to watch in the right order. We're going to watch the TV show and then the movie at the end.
Quite right. Have you come across? Is it Alice?
Yes, Crazy
Alice. Yeah. Oh, she's so good. Yeah. I love her. She's a great character.
I think we've watched the first 2 episodes of season 1, so we've been working our way through that. I watched Daredevil, obviously, ahead of the review. I watched it over a couple of days, just time-wise. When me and Alien we're still, these invites will come eventually. I put on, randomly, just wanted some background noise, I put on Fresh Meat. I don't know if you ever watched it back in the day.
I didn't, but it was like a who's who of like kind of young comedians, wasn't it? It was like the all-star kind of show.
It was like Jack Whitehall and Simon from the In-Betweeners and the
Gary Finkamander,
the actress from the latest season of You. You know, the Kate, I think she was called in You.
Mm-hmm.
She was in it as well. So I put that on. Just I don't know why. I just went on Netflix and it's a random thing I put on.
Yeah.
What else? I've got right back into Inside Number 9 on iPlayer, the anthology series, and there was one episode in season 2 that I was like, don't really fancy this, but 5 out of the 6 episodes in season 3 were like top quality. This is becoming like a non-Star Wars version of Rebels, but I would highly recommend checking out an episode or 2 and see what you think. Like, it's different to Black Mirror and it's not about technology, but they've always got a big twist and it gets really quite dark at times as well, and it's good. It's funny as well. It's good humor as well.
Is there any pigs involved?
No pigs were harmed in the making of this. That's everything. I just like to mention that I keep forgetting that the new season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine's out, so at some point I'd like to watch it's the last season. I'd quite like to watch that at some point.
Okay. Did you say a few weeks ago that you're watching The Night Agent?
We watched it,
yeah. Okay. That's mainly what I've been watching this week. Watched it all. I watched it. Me and Scarlett binged it Saturday into Sunday. We watched all 10 episodes and we watched it till like 4 a.m. And yeah, it was actually really. I wasn't sure what to expect at the start, but once you got into it, it was really, really good.
I found I got into it quite quickly. However, the last couple of episodes, I think I fell asleep a few times just with general tiredness. So I don't really remember how it ended that well, but I did enjoy the rest of it. Yeah, I remember being really spoilers for The Night Agent. I remember being really gutted when his mentor became the baddie. Yeah,
because at the start I'm like, oh, she'll definitely be a baddie. Like, there's no doubt she is the baddie. And then it was like, oh, she's not the baddie. I'm like, oh, okay. Then it turned out she was. And I was like, I knew that.
And see, when they killed off Jeff Malone, I was inconsolable. I actually screamed out loud.
I can imagine you did, yes.
It's not just my suits love the actor itself, Lucifer as well.
Yeah. What's he? Is he? What's he again?
He's Lucifer's brother.
Yeah. Was it? It's not Galadriel or something. No. I can't remember.
Oh,
Gabriel? No.
No, it's not Gabriel. Oh,
Ezekiel.
No, that's annoying me now. You've annoyed me now,
The only thing I'd say about the Night Agent is
Amenadiel.
I kept seeing like continuity errors like throughout. And I was like, oh, this is annoying. It's like, when the vice president's daughter's been held in the shipping container, and she's using a pillow to hide the hole in the wall.
Right.
I was watching that, and then the pillow would be on the ground, and then the next shot it'd be up in the bed. Then the next shot it'd be down on the ground. And the next shot it'd be up in the bed. And I'm like, what's this pillow doing? Just daft things.
You need to get out more.
I was like rewinding it. I was like, Scarlett, look at this.
Anyway, enough of your pillows. So, Paul, what have you been, apart from Night Agent, what have you been checking out this week?
To be honest, not really much. Night Agent, I watched Visions last week because we're watching Visions. We did reviewing Visions. And apart from that, not a lot. Nothing at all. Just the Night Agent, I think. There wasn't anything else, any series I've been catching up on. I try to catch some Rebels, but I start watching the episode and then I get called away to do something else. And
Persevere, you saw some of the reviews on Twitter.
No, Craigie boys, I know. I do need to. I want to. I'll get there. I'll get there.
You'll need to before Ahsoka, at least.
Yeah.
Right. You ready for some seismic statements?
Yes, sir. Hit me with some good trivia.
I've got 5 fun facts and 3 bonus ones if you want them.
Sure.
Okay, do you want to hear some of the actors that were considered for the lead roles?
Aye, on you go.
So Daredevil, some of the actors who were linked with or almost cast include Vin Diesel.
No.
Matt Damon.
Who
at one point I think was signed on. Edward Norton, aka Incredible Hulk.
That'd been a very skinny Daredevil.
And Colin Farrell, who got a different role, obviously.
Yeah. That's an interesting mix, but out of all of them, I'm glad Ben Affleck got it because I would think I'd like the rest of them.
Maybe Damon would have done all right.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Nah.
Okay, and for Elektra, Kate Winslet.
Okay.
Salma Hayek. Salma Hayek? Yeah. Who's in the new season of Black Mirror. And our very own Natalie Portman.
I could see any of them doing a good job.
I can't believe we've made it this far into the podcast, Paul. Happy May the 4th.
Well, to be fair, when the episode drops, it's not May the 4th.
I know, but we're filming it on May the 4th.
Yes, May the 4th be with you.
Yes, always.
Always.
Right, fun fact 2. Colin Farrell, I think you maybe realised in the film, was very Irish, and he was encouraged to keep the accent or use the accent because the bullseye version in this movie is Irish.
I did gather that, yes.
And number 3, the actor that plays Wesley. Do you remember Wesley from the TV show? He was quite a big character in the TV show.
Jon Favreau? No. Wesley?
Wesley's Kingpin's right-hand guy.
Oh, right. Okay, got you. Yeah.
The actor's called it Leyland Orser or something. Anyway, he's Liam Neeson's best pal in Taken.
Yeah, in the CIA. He's like part of the protection group. Yeah.
I recognise him right away. Number 4.
Did you not recognise him from Saving Private Ryan as well?
Now you mention it a wee bit, yeah. Number 4, Kevin Smith, the actor. He had a cameo as a forensic scientist named Jack something that I can't read.
I only noticed that, and when I was watching it an hour ago, I was like, "That's Kevin Smith." He's the one that finds the Daredevil's baton and shows it to the reporter.
I don't actually remember seeing it in the film. I just read it on my scrounge. And number 5, quite fitting for our discussion the other day, they actually released Daredevil, the album, in February 2003. You could buy an album of the soundtracks.
The only tracks I like at this movie is the Evanescence ones. Like they
were
jamming.
I've added that to the wedding playlist, by the way, Bring Me Back to Life.
Oh, what about the other one? Is it My Eternal or something? You need to get that one on. You know, when they went at the funeral.
Yes, because that's what
it's a pure sad depressing one.
We want it. Do you want the bonus facts? Or are you bored?
No, hit me with
it. The film was banned in Malaysia due to excessive violence.
Don't think it was that. Oh, there's a couple of bits that are a bit naughty.
And apparently there's a half-hour longer director's cut that's apparently a lot better.
Oh, well. Where do we find that?
I don't know. But it has an extra subplot, apparently, with a character that's taken out of the film. I'm really struggling to read the last thing I wrote. Give me a second. What does that say? I'm sure.
Don't know. Okay.
I'm sure.
Right, whilst you're trying to decipher that, I don't know if you've seen the scores or not. What do you think it got on IMDb out of 10?
5.2.
You've looked at this before. It's 5.3.
Oh, that's really annoying me that I can't read that. Hold on. I actually want to check what it was. It's going to annoy
me. What do you think it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
54%.
43% and 35% on the audience. So not universally loved.
Well, we're just about to get into our own review, and then we'll see what comes from there. I really wish I knew what I'd written there. Why can't I write?
Fine. We can go back to it. Don't worry. Just we'll plod on with that random bonus fact at the end.
No, I'm going to find it. Hold on, because it's just above. Malaysia.
By the way, this fact better be bloody amazing. After all this,
stay with me here.
This better shake me to my core.
Yeah, it's a load of rubbish as well. Oh, it's quite a random thing. I know what it is now. So when there were, as a business guy, I was quite interested that when this film was getting marketed, it was just when online ticket purchases was becoming a trend, like becoming popular. And if you bought tickets for this, you got a Daredevil t-shirt, you got some cufflinks, and you got some Game Boy games. I thought that really kind of showed the bit of kind of that it came out in.
How did they make any money off this film?
They actually made a decent profit.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was like this was like one of the not one of the first ones, but when superhero films wasn't quite on its feet yet.
Yeah, it made a. What was it?
It says on Wikipedia it made 180 million.
Aye, versus like 80. I think it made like $100 million profit or something.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we get into the main bit of the review then, P. Quay.
Sure. Let's do it.
You've already made your feelings abundantly clear.
Oh, you kind of froze a wee bit. Right, okay, you're back now. You're back. Yeah.
So you've made your point really clear. Do you want my perception?
Sure. Hit us with your undying optimism.
Well, I'm not gonna claim that it's great. I quite enjoyed watching it.
Aye.
I watched it over like a couple of sittings. So like I watched like an hour and then like an hour. So it was like 2 sittings. But I had quite a good time watching it. Like I thought it was quite funny. The humor was quite good. You know, a banging soundtrack. I don't know. There was a lot of elements of the film I thought it was quite well directed. The one thing I particularly liked was some of the transitions.
Right, okay.
Some quite artsy.
Like what? Which ones?
I don't know if I want to do this just yet. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to the transitions. I thought Bullseye was absolutely hilarious, but you couldn't take him seriously at all as a villain because it was just like ridiculous. He
is so over the top, isn't he? He's just like so cheesy. Yeah, and yeah, like when he said like, I need a costume, and then he shows up and his costumes are exactly basically what he was wearing before. Like it was like no change. And you know, like in the street, and he misses, and he's like having a freak out. He's like, I never miss. Like I need to go kill him now. And then like in the church when they're fighting, he misses him like a billion times with like the stained glass windows and stuff. And he's just like, oh well.
Yeah, it was certainly memorable.
Aye, like when I was like, thinking back about the film before I watched it, and I vividly remember Colin Farrell and his big bullseye scar on his head and his crazy facial expressions. That's all.
I don't know how I've never came across that character before, like ever. Like it feels like one that should be mentioned more, just as a bit of a meme.
Yeah, I know. It's like Nicolas Cage on steroids. It's just no matter what he's doing, he's just like. Ugh.
I don't think we're going to get very far into this podcast. That's why I hesitated earlier, because the last rename segment, where I pick out a couple of questions to ask you about some of your favorite things in the film, Seismic Solutions, where you give me your solutions to my questions. One of them was your favorite transition, because I felt there was 3 or 4 times there was some really clever transitions within the film. Was there any that stood out to you? Do you remember?
One I quite liked was, I think if this is what you mean by transition, was when he was chasing like one of the Kingpin's enforcers down the street, and no, it wasn't the enforcer. I think it was the guy at the start, and he looks in a puddle, and he sees the reflection of Daredevil in the puddle up on the roof. Yeah. And then Daredevil jumps down into the puddle. That was the one that kind of stood out for me. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that.
That's the one that I was going to say as well, actually. But it happens quite a few times. They quite often use his glasses to like transition to like different scenes or different areas. So I thought from like a directorial perspective that it was quite well put together in a lot of senses. Like, I think it did that quite well, and transitions like that are something I've always liked. I think there was one in the Batman. There was I remember there been a couple in that movie that we referenced as well.
Yeah, probably. I can't remember which ones it was. Was that in the car chase and stuff? No, I can't remember.
I agree on that one.
Yeah, like the movie wasn't like completely bad. Like, it had some cool ideas. Like, I liked Daredevil's like sonar vision, the way it kind of portrayed it. And like when he was getting confused and stuff, like the way it made everything kind of like double images and stuff, it made it really confusing. Like when like there's loud noises and stuff, like shockwaves.
The bit I found a bit weird was it because it wasn't like this. We should have talked about this at the start actually. I've watched season 1 of the show. I haven't watched all 3 seasons. I really enjoyed season 1. I just didn't. I think when Kingpin went to jail, I was a bit sad because I really liked him as a villain in the show. But anyway, where was I going with this?
I don't know. Were you talking about it didn't make it clear or something? Or we should have talked about it at the start? What should we have talked about at the start?
No. We should have talked about like our kind of experience of the character. So yeah, I've watched season 1. I honestly can't remember what we're talking about beforehand. But
well, what is your experience of Daredevil before this?
That is my experience. I've watched season 1 of the
season
show.
1.
I've seen him in She-Hulk, and I've watched this. Are you going to ask me about my Belgium top before I forget?
Oh yeah, what's with the Belgian top? Because I've asked about this before, and you were very cagey about it.
Belgium, the football team, their nickname is like the Red Devils, and we're talking about Daredevil. That was the link.
Size connection. I was actually going to wear something red tonight, but I didn't have it in, so I'm wearing my uniform.
I always have a look through my wardrobe before we do a review to see if there's anything that can link up.
Yeah. Well, this movie, when it first came out, I think my first experience of it was actually it was Top of the Pops or something like that, and the Evanescence song came out, Bring Me to Life. I think that reached number 1, and the music video for it was the official music video for like Daredevil, because it was part of the soundtrack. And I think the music video came out before the movie as a kind of teaser kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, I want to go see that. So I ended up watching it. I can't remember watching it in the cinema on DVD or something, or maybe VHS back in the day, if that was VHS. I can't remember. And that was my first introduction to it. And I remember just watching the bit Jennifer Garner's like slicing the sandbags, because it had that "Bring Me to Life" song like bit over and over again. I was like, yeah, this is cool.
It was a bit of a
Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck got married.
Did they? I think
yeah, like 2005.
Are they still married?
No. Ben Affleck's married to Jennifer Lopez now. But I think they've got kids and stuff. I didn't know that until Scarlett told me today. I was like, well, I did not know that.
Interesting. Talking about Ben Affleck, remember and watched Good Will Hunting and Dead Poet Society. I know he's not in Dead Poet Society, but I watched those films at the same time.
I've seen Good Will Hunting.
I know, but rewatch it's good. It was a bit of a trend in the 2000s, wasn't it? Because Spider-Man and Nickelback are always very closely connected as well.
Oh yeah, what does that song go like? Give us a blast.
And I need a hero to save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
It's like listening to Chad Kroeger all over again.
The next thing I want to ask is, well, I'll just do the next two. I think the question lead into the discussion as well. Favorite actor in the film? Was it a standout performance or just somebody you liked?
See, I could go for like the low hanging fruit and go for Colin Farrell, just because he was totally deranged, and but I think that was an easy one to go for, because like it didn't have to do too much too seriously, and all of the stuff he was, if he had to do it was like CGI, like when he was in action. I quite liked Michael Clark Duncan as the Kingpin.
Okay. Do you know he died?
Yeah.
2012 or something.
Yeah, aye. Because he gives us quite a good performance. He comes across like quite charming, but quite devious at the same time. And he's like an actor you've seen like the Green Mile and stuff, and you always comes across as like a really like nice guy, and you're always rooting for him. So it's weird to see him as the bad guy. So I quite liked his performance. A couple of them, like, it wasn't too bad, but I just found Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, I don't know, I just found them like really cheesy together. Just the way they talk to each other, and that, like, it's probably the script writing, but just the way they talk to each other and the way they acted around each other just didn't feel right to me.
You froze a wee bit there.
I did that. It's terrible because what I was saying was absolute gold too.
No, I can hear you. It's just your face wasn't moving.
All right, okay. No, that's fine. Not much. My face doesn't do much. Yeah, like he was probably my favorite character. What about
you? So, easy one for me. I always forget what his character's called. He's his law partner.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say him.
I thought
Foggy Nelson.
I know we love Favreau anyway for everything he's done for Star Wars and what he's done for the MCU, etc. But yeah, I thought he was really funny. There was a particular line that really stood out was when they were talking about Elektra's name, and he made it. What was it, Elektra? Sounds a bit like, it's like you sound like a Mexican dessert or something like that.
Yeah.
I actually did. I laughed out loud quite a few times in the film. I must admit, I did find it quite funny, but it was unintentionally so.
And he was trying to trick. He kept trying to trick Matt and stuff, like different things. He was like, when he was playing basketball, he's like swish, and he could blatantly missed.
Yeah, I didn't actually know Jon Favreau was in this until I started watching it, and he was in it.
I totally forgot he was in this until I seen him at the lawyer's table at the start, and I was like, oh, he's now the director of The Mandalorian and savior of Star Wars. That's crazy.
Something I struggled with a bit was the fact that I had watched the TV show first, so I was constantly comparing them to their counterparts in the show. So that was the last question I wanted to ask today. Is there any actors you liked more than the ones in the show, and is there any ones you liked a lot less than the ones in the show? You don't have to do it all. I could just kind of chime in here and there as well.
Well, I liked Charlie Cox a lot better than Ben Affleck as Daredevil itself, but
same. But to me, he is Daredevil because up till like 2 days ago, he was all I'd ever known.
Yeah. Well, see, I'd seen Ben Affleck before Charlie Cox, and I don't know. I think he just carries it off better. But it's hard to compare them because like a TV show is more well rounded, better written. More better written, yes. English, good, yes. Please, thanks.
Me feel English that impossible.
I'm totally off track there. Yeah, so I think because this movie is not the best written, it's hard to compare because I think Ben Affleck could do a better job. I think it was just a sign of the times that this definitely feels like a cheesy early 2000s movie. Whereas the Netflix series kind of ramped up a wee bit and the action got a lot better, the effects got a lot better. Like for 2003 and the budget this has, I feel like the CGI is so ropey in some of the fight scenes. It's unreal. Like it just looks so fake. And like the stunt work as well. Like you see somebody, I think it was Elektra, when she gets stabbed and he like throws her off a roof. And when he throws her off the roof, she's like basically like belly flopping onto the roof below. But in the next shot, it shows her like forward rolling onto the roof below, and it's like, how that doesn't make sense, like physics wise. And I've just meandered off of characters and off the bits I don't like. And by the way, this Hell's Kitchen must be a tiny place because everybody seems to find everybody in these rooftops. It's like, there we go, that rooftop. There we go, found them.
And in Ben Affleck's defense, from doing my weekly Wikipedia stock, he hates the film and wanted it to be a lot darker and more like the comic books.
Yeah, I must admit I've never read the comic books, so I can attest to that. So
apparently there were scenes in the film that were literally a direct lift from some of the comic books.
Yeah, okay. What did you think of the look of the Daredevil costume?
Yeah, I thought it was quite kind of, as you say, corny in early 2000s. I like it better in the because he builds up. He takes ages to get his costume in the show, doesn't he? Isn't it like near the end of the season he finally gets the suit?
Yeah, because he starts off with like just a blindfold and like an Under Armour t-shirt.
I think once I've watched Rebels, I might watch season 2 and 3 of Daredevil because I did really enjoy season 1.
Yeah, it's good. It does get good as well. It's like a lot. The Punisher comes into it at some point as well. It's awesome. Like John Bernthal.
Yeah, you've mentioned that show before. I must admit, I did prefer the Kingpin in the show versus the movie. I feel like the one in the movie was just a bit too nice and a bit like you couldn't really picture him being as nasty as who is it the actor that plays him in the show?
Is it D'Onofrio?
Yeah, because he's in Hawkeye as well. Sorry for the spoiler.
He's in the last 2 episodes because I've not seen him yet.
Last episode. I think it was
what's going on? What's my picture gone?
I see you.
I did. It just went black for me. Sorry.
So yeah, I preferred him, and also because that version of Kingpin's in like the Spider-Man PS games and things like that as well. So,
yeah, no, he is really good in the TV show D'Onofrio.
That's pretty earlier. Like my reason for not watching season 2 was I know he wasn't dead, but when Kingpin got put in jail, I was like, oh, I really, really like. He was like my favorite character in the show.
Do I know a secret? He doesn't stay in jail long.
I didn't think he would. I know I should have just kept watching. Anyway, so Favreau plays what was his? I keep forgetting his name. His pal,
Foggy Nelson.
What did you think of Favreau versus Foggy in the show?
I like the show Foggy better. Yeah, it's quite funny in the movie Favreau, but I feel like he's just very one-dimensional. He's just like ripping the piss at himself. He's just playing the old, we're poor, we need better clients. We're poor,
got a point.
Let her more.
It's got a point.
Yep. To be fair, I think we're all Foggy Nelson just now.
I think the TV show obviously has the benefit of being like 10 hours per season and having that to delve into the characters.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you can make. I think this one they just try to cram a lot in, and it's hard to develop it, and it's just very short and sweet. Like even like, does not feel like Affleck and Gardner's like romance was very, very rushed. Like
no more than rushed. I remember thinking like when I was watching it, like he should be in jail. See the way he pursued her, like stalked her, followed her, grabbed her arm, wouldn't take no for an answer. Like that's the kind of videos you show like young people nowadays. Like don't do that, you end up in jail.
Yes, that's a social education. No. What did you think of the playground fight? That was the worst thing in the world, by the way. I had to pause it like 3 times because I was cringing so bad at it.
Yeah, the whole they're not wanting to go the road he was on to suddenly being like we're together. Do you know what I mean? So I guess you're right on that. Okay. There was a.
And like, how did she? Sorry, on you go.
There's a blonde. At some point, is that the movie version of the blonde that's in the TV show? You know, they're like receptionist one that's in it.
I think so. I think so. It's Karen Page or something.
Yeah, I think it was. Because at first I thought they were going to get together. Because like she was quite flirty with them at one point.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Is that not the last set of Grey's Anatomy?
Is it?
I think so.
What, the main one?
The receptionist one?
No, the main one of Grey's Anatomy, like the lead. No.
I think so. Ellen Pompeo.
I don't think it is. No, they're not. They're not the same person.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong.
Ellen Pompeo, Karen Page, 100%. Are you looking this up? I'm literally looking at it on Wikipedia.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I've got it. It's right here in front of me.
What's her name?
Ellen Pompeo.
Ellen Pompeo.
Are you doing live research in the middle of the podcast?
That's not the same person.
What, from Grey's Anatomy?
Ellen Pompeo, Daredevil. Oh, you mean the one in the movie, not the one in the show?
Yeah.
I thought you were meaning the one in the show was the one in Grey's Anatomy, because I was like, no, that's definitely not right.
All right, no, she's in Escape Room.
Yes. Great film, by the way.
It is a great film. Second one's pretty decent too.
Enjoyed the first one a lot. I watched it with Alien as well. She liked it.
Yeah. You watched the second one with me, didn't you?
Yeah, I watched it at your house. I think we watched both of them together.
Did we? I probably actually, yeah.
I think so, yeah. That's when you used to invite me over.
I know. Oh, I need to tidy this first.
Right, have we got anything else? Sorry, on you go.
I just have the question, like, see Daredevil's actually, like, power set, like, his actual skill set. Like, I think he just got, like, enhanced senses, right?
Yeah.
And, like, and he's, like, quite gymnastic and, like, acrobatic.
It's never really made sense to me because, like, I think it's meant to be, like, the chemicals that got to him that took his eyesight was what caused all these other senses to be enhanced, but it just feels highly convenient, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. Like, see, throughout the movie, he, like, jumps, like, really, like, across buildings and stuff, like, really long distances. He jumps up to the first story of a church, like, super strength style. And it's like, he doesn't have super strength, so, like, where does this come from? He can jump that.
Have you ever watched? I probably made you watch them before. That YouTube channel is like pitch meetings.
No, don't know what that is.
I'll show you sometime. It's basically they just like take the mick out of films, and it was like basically like, oh, what skills has he got? Basically what you were saying. It's like, oh, can he jump from buildings and like swing from building to building? So basically they were just saying like he's just taking Spider-Man's skills and pinched them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think him as a character can physically do that. He's just a man, but I think he's got like good balance and like super acrobatic, and he's good at fighting, which doesn't mean he should be able to jump from like across the street to another building kind of thing. And like Bullseye was doing it too. Bullseye was like jumping up like crazy, like heights and stuff, and it was like, how are these guys doing it? They're just people.
You need to suspend your disbelief, I think, when you watch these films, Paul.
Look, okay.
You're gonna make yourself ill. Something I'd quite like to touch on, like the kind of social commentary in this film, in the sense of it'd be quite interesting to see what like the kind of blind community would think of this film and how it's portrayed.
Yeah, I was actually quite. I never noticed it before, but it was quite interesting to see all the different tools they utilize. Like, you know, when he's doing the like folding his money, so he can tell which ones are which notes and stuff.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
And the braille and the necklace and things like that.
I quite like the opening credits. You know, like when it's the city lights and then it turns to braille, and then it turns to their names. But yeah, I wonder, what do you think the community would think?
I dropped my pen there, by the way, just in case you wonder what that noise was.
No, sorry.
I think like similar to what kind of Miss Marvel did for kind of like that age group and her culture. I feel like this must be quite inspirational as a character in film for people that are blind. Like it's really kind of given. I guess that's the purpose of the Daredevil character in the first place was to make people think that anyone can be a hero.
Yeah, inclusiveness.
Yeah. The what bit I found weird in the film was like when it rained, they could see people. I don't remember that happening in the show.
Yeah, I quite like the effect of, like, that's what I was going to say before. Like, I quite like the effect of it, like the way they try to do it different, and I thought it actually looked quite nice. The actual shot itself.
I think this is like, I don't know. I feel like the way you've talked about it, I feel like you maybe like more about this than you maybe let on at the start.
I don't completely hate it. Like, it's not the worst film I've ever seen in my life, but it's not far off it. But it's like, it's got some good points. Like, there's some shots that are pretty cool. Like, some of the action's pretty decent. There's just bits that are like, just take me out of it a wee bit. You know, like when the guy gets like ran over in the train tracks,
and
they find like half of him. It's the top half, and his top half's just completely fine. It's like as if like it's just been a clean cut. I was like, I'm pretty sure if you got ran over by a train, you'd been like a bazillion pieces. Like, he's just like,
that was another bit that made me laugh out loud. His kind of calling card when it was like the DED came up.
oh yeah, in the flames. Like, can you imagine like, doing all that stuff and then be like, right, I'm just going to paint my initials in kerosene here. Just a camera, just watching him doing that. Like,
we haven't really talked about the kind of backing story of how his dad was in like the mob and was a fighter, and then there's a really, I'm glad I mentioned that actually, because there's a really kind of poignant scene where his dad tells him to hit the books. Like, the only thing you should do is hit the books. And he turns up and you see his report card and he's got all A's, but it's at that exact moment he sees his dad like working for I can't remember what the guy was called.
Fallon,
Jimmy Fallon. What I thought that bit was quite powerful, how he'd really listened to his dad and really worked hard, only to be absolutely crushed.
Yeah, it was that was quite a good part of the story. Quite a classic part of the story, because his dad was always like, "Yeah, I'm working at double shifts at the docks. I'm going to be working for him." And his whole kind of image of his dad gets shattered because he sees him beating up this poor, is that a chef or a butcher or something? It owed Fallon money.
He's quite a tough upbringing, didn't he?
Yeah. See when I seen the credits coming up at the start, and it was like, was it David Keith? And I was like, oh, that's a guy at Community. I don't remember him being in that. That's Keith David.
Was it a way around?
And the dad's David Keith. But yeah, that was a good part of the story. The only bit. Well, they woke up. The only bit that was a bit weird at the start was, you know, like when he fights the bullies, and he just suddenly knows like martial arts. And
was he not kind of training him? Was he not kind of training himself up though, secretly?
I don't know how well you can train yourself to do flips and all that, and I don't know, like.
I'll suspend disbelief.
Oh, I suspended my disbelief when the fat kids rushed him, and all he did was tap him in the backside, and he just took a 90-degree turn into the fence, and I was like, no way. It looks so bad. It looks so bad. It looks so amateurish.
I'm glad they kept in the scenes with the church, because it's quite an important part of season 1 of the show, where he goes to see the priest and he does his confessions in the booth.
Oh yeah, he's like macho.
How similar are Daredevil and Batman though, just in terms of backstory, and just they're in like a kind of small area and they're always like in the shadows and taking guys down and wanting vengeance. Like, there's a lot of similarities between Batman and Daredevil.
Yeah, and he even had the bats in the organs when they flew the flute. But see what made me laugh. You know, like when the shadow of Daredevil like appears behind one of the thugs, and he's just got these tiny wee horns, and it's like the most unintimidating thing in the world. It's just like a wee guy with a couple of bumps in his head.
Oh well. So, despite your disdain for the film at the outset, Paul, we still managed to make 50 minutes discussion out of it.
Yeah. Thanks, Craig.
I had quite a good time, not gonna lie. So we're on to Seismic Stars, Paul.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to go first or shall I?
I'll go first. I'm going to give this. My entertainment, is it entertainment value or is it like quality?
Hey, it's your scale, man. You do what you want.
So
overall,
remember, every film is ranked. This is a disclaimer. Every film is ranked independently based on what the film is. I'm not going to rank this on the same scale as like a Good Will Hunting, for example. Overall, mm, 6.75.
I can't argue with that.
I feel like I really enjoyed it. It was a bit kind of ridiculous and corny, and I feel like my perceptions of the characters were really impacted by the show. So I think it would have been higher maybe if I hadn't seen the show, or maybe I enjoyed it more because I'd seen the show. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't want to quite go 7. I didn't want to go 6, so I went for 6.75.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give it a 4.
That's harsh.
I don't know. It's just like I didn't like the kind of rush romance. I didn't like Daredevil's suit. I didn't like a lot of the action. I found really disorientating. It was just like flashes and going too fast. Like see the bar fight at the start, I just couldn't really tell what was going on. It was just too fast and didn't seem very cohesive. So it was getting a point for the soundtrack, a point for Colin Farrell's mental faces, a point for Kingpin, and a point because I'm a generous soul. So 4
What
out of 10.
about Favreau's patter?
It's okay, but it was very like one trick pony.
Yeah, well.
That's me.
Grumpy PK's out tonight. Anyway, Grumpy PK, do you have any PK picks for the week?
Yes, I do. But first, I just want to say congrats to a few people because, like you were saying, but the Moisture Farm Report, they've just finished season 3 or 4, was it? Season 4?
It was 4.
Season 4. What's the script finished season 2, I think it was, and they just started back up again today. They've done a review in Return of the Jedi, which I'm listening to just now.
Oh, I'll need to check that out.
Yeah, because it's the 40th anniversary.
I mean, if it comes to Danuni, you're going to see Return of the Jedi in the cinema.
100%.
Nice.
Ow. It's got headbutt by my dog. And it was the Nomads of Fantasy. They had their 100th episode. Dissect It Film. They had their 100th episode. And the Grey's Tap Room podcast, Mike and Tabs, they're just about to have their 100th episode. So just a few congratulations out there. It's quite a good milestone for them. And yeah, I've been listening to a couple of different bits and pieces. I was listening to Toy Boy Radio, and I did a episode with them guesting about sequels, and they'd mentioned an episode called "Come at Me, Bro," where they picked like six random people, and another one would pick 6 random people, and then they'd just put them in fights against each other, like, oh, who's winning a fight, and it'd be like such and such against such and such. So it was like,
That's fun.
It was actually quite funny. They had like pure random picks, and one of them ended up being Warwick Davis versus, you know, that wee Hezbollah guy, the wee fighter. He's that wee tiny guy.
No.
Anyway, but it was hilarious. So like, I'd give him a listen. I listened to that today. And what else was I listening to? Action Movie Book Club. They were doing Snatch, Guy Ritchie film. Have you seen that?
Still not seen it. I've considered watching it a couple of times, just haven't got around to it.
Yeah, you definitely should. And there's quite a bunch of. There's probably about a dozen because I've not posted them over the last couple of weeks. I've been out in the sauce at parties and stuff. So no, I've not done any the last couple of weeks. So
social work.
So I've got one to post this week.
Nice. We didn't get any real traction on our Daredevil post. We just got a picture of bullseye.
Yeah, that's all you need. Pinpoint perfect.
I just want to give a wee shout out to our good friend Jeff Menapace, who we had on for an interview a couple of weeks ago. I finished Vengeance Games, the second book, and because I don't have that much time for physical reading, I've downloaded Hellbent, the third of the 5, on Audible, and I've been listening to that, and it's quite interesting because it's centered more around 2 kind of previously secondary characters. So I'm enjoying listening to book 3 from our boy Jeff.
Nice. I still need to do this first one. I'm still working my way through it. At a very, very slow pace.
We started it?
No.
Can I give you a tip? Leave a book beside your bed. Or
that's
beside
your that's where my PlayStation was.
Or beside your toilet or whatever you're likely to sit down.
Okay.
Right, we'll wrap up. So just to summarize, this was our Daredevil 2003 review. I'm trying to talk over the dogs. And we are Seismic Cinema. And if you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, give us a like, follow, retweet. And you can listen to this podcast. Well, you've already listened to it, so you can listen to other podcasts from us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Good Pods, Audible, and Amazon Music. And that's why I do the plugs. So we would strongly appreciate if you enjoyed this episode or any of our previous stuff, that you subscribe or like or follow and help us continue to grow the channel. We've got loads of stuff on there. We've got classic movies like Saving Private Ryan. We've got rankings of our favorite TV shows and our favorite soundtracks. We've got interviews with authors, directors, and we've got lots of reviews of new films and old films, and quite a bit of Star Wars as well.
You're getting good at this. You should be a pro podcaster.
Never know. I might get headhunted. Oh, my screen just went black there, and I thought like my laptop had died, but it hadn't. So next time up, we're going to be reviewing a Man of Steel in our DC week of our superhero month, and Paul is kindly just going to tell our viewers what our tagline is.
It is the power of shoddy story, shoddy action, and shoddy characters. But a nice wee tight red PVC suit.
It's actually the power of escapism, and we hope you've enjoyed escaping with us for almost an hour, talking about Daredevil and movies and TV in general. So we look forward to you checking us out next time.
Yeah. Thanks for listening and watching.